So, who are you?
Hi, I'm Davidson. I'm a product manager for Windows Mobile, and we've got some exciting things to share with you today. Basically, going to go around.
All right. Stop the PM talk. Just talk to me. Who are you?
I'm Davidson.
And what do you do here?
I'm a product manager.
You're a product manager, and we're standing underneath the Windows Mobile banner here. So
That's
I have
right.
a feeling you're the guy that everybody bugs for the cool devices, aren't you?
Absolutely. Tons of requests.
Vic Condotra, this is the guy. He controls whether you get the cool phone or not. So what do you guys do here?
Well, we make a pretty cool mobile version of Windows software for mobile phones and PDA devices.
Okay.
And we just announced Windows Mobile 5.0
Yep.
in May, and it's an awesome new release.
Some MVPs might know it as Magneto.
That's right.
Okay.
Magneto,
What's the
a.k.a.
code?
Windows Mobile 5.0. So we're going to give you a quick preview today, but also thought that you'd like to meet some of the people who work on Windows Mobile team.
That's cool. Let's go.
All right, we're going to start off with meeting Eric Engineer. And Eric works on our developer marketing team.
Yep.
And he has been responsible for tons of the sessions at TechEd or at MEDC if you were there. And he's going to talk a little bit about some of the things he's working on. And he worked on the device emulator. Some of the developers out there might have received the kit with the standalone emulator. Eric worked on that. Also worked on a showcase of a ton of applications that are beta bits that work on Windows Mobile 5.0.
Now, what's in your pocket? What device do you?
Well, my device
on
is
your
back
device.
in my office because I'm trying to get it set up for you. So it's
All right.
we'll be back and check out what I've got in my pocket. It's pretty
Cool.
sweet. All right, here we are, Eric Engineer.
Hello.
Hi there. So, what do you do here?
I work on a team that is focused on our developer platform for application developers.
Right.
And so I make sure that all the Windows Mobile developers out there have the right technical content, that they have access to devices, that they have the information that they need to build applications and get them out to market.
Right. Now, what's your favorite mobile device?
Right now,
What's the one I see the
well,
audio?
I use the Typhoon. Yeah, I use the Typhoon right now, and that's so that I can play with the latest and greatest bits.
Yeah.
I have.
You can get these from Singular, right?
Yeah, you can get them from Singular right now. I have it flashed with the latest and greatest bits that we have internally here, so I'm always testing it, and sometimes things are working, sometimes they're not. So
Yep.
it's a love-hate, but it's fun.
What's cool about the new OS?
Oh, there's plenty of stuff, especially for developers. If you're a managed developer, it's great. For the first time with Windows Mobile 5.0, we have managed APIs. So that means you don't have to p-invoke or break out into native code. You can actually, from within .NET CF, access stuff like PIM data, react to different changes in the device state. Lots of cool different new features.
Yeah. Now, when I have the same phone, and
Yep.
whenever I show it to my friends who have other kinds of phones, they always remark on the display and
Oh, yeah,
the
people love it.
email integration, right?
Yep. Email
'Cause,
integration is great.
Yeah. So what makes a Microsoft smartphone different than, say, a Nokia or a Motorola?
Oh, there's just a rich number of applications that are out there. The kind of multimedia capabilities of these phones is just increasing every generation. This new generation with Windows Mobile 5.0 actually has support for DirectX. So this is really cool. If you're a big PC gamer, you'll start seeing new PC titles, or PC titles maybe from a couple of years ago, that were popular then, now making their way to the phone.
So better games are coming.
Oh,
on the phone.
definitely, tons of games.
Do you have any
Great.
cool games to show us?
Not on this one, but I can round one up with Ford. We have some
Okay.
cool games. We're actually bringing Xbox titles over as well. So we have Midtown Madness that's there and some other cool things.
Wow, my
So
son's
exciting
gonna like
stuff on the
that.
way, yeah.
My son was getting bored at Solitaire, so.
Oh yeah, really rich 3D stuff. It's awesome.
Okay. And one of the things I really like about this is the multimedia capabilities, because I
Yes.
can actually play Channel 9 videos on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Or videos of my kids.
You can also sign up for podcast downloads, whether
Yep.
it's video or audio on there, and get them directly cached on here, and then you can watch them later. There's a media player here, and if you're a developer, what's cool is you can actually integrate media player into your application.
Yeah.
So if you want to take advantage of the library and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
For developers, this is a really big opportunity, isn't
Yes.
it? I mean, just spoke at the Reboot conference in Europe, which is a little bit more cell phone centric than here, but not much actually.
Yep.
And they asked the crowd how many people were carrying iPods, and one person in the audience was. How many people are carrying cell phones? Every single hand
Yep.
went up. So
It's the
You
future.
guys put the .NET framework on here, right?
Yeah, .NET Framework's here. On this one, it's 1.0. In future devices, you'll see 2.0.
Now, what makes that
Also.
better than, let's say, a Java device? Or
Oh, well, what's really exciting here is, again, because of those managed APIs that I talked about, you really get to get what I guess, deep device integration, not to use a marketing term, but really you get to take advantage of all the capabilities of the device, like the camera, the fact that you like email and messaging, SMS, all this stuff you can easily take advantage of within the world of NetCF.
Yeah.
With Java development, you're kind of living in this sandbox, and it's really hard to be able to take advantage of the device-specific capabilities because
Right.
every device is different. And while there are some standards to try to make that easier for the Java developer, it's not as easy as people would like. With NetCF and Windows Mobile, you know what's going to be there. You can access that and really make a mobile-specific application and not just something that is carried over from the PC.
now, for developers, what's the real challenge for developing for a phone versus maybe a PC or something? If somebody's trying to build their first mobile app, you know,
Well, what's
do they
actually
have?
nice, I'd say, is what's actually easy about it is
Okay.
that, at least with Windows Mobile, is that it's the same tools. You're using Visual Studio, and with this Visual Studio 2005 for both managed and native development. And so it's really the same tools, the same languages that you're used to.
So C#, or
C#,
VB.NET.
yep, exactly. There are a few differences in the underlying operating system, but a lot of that, especially if you're using NetCF, is abstracted away for you. You still have to worry about fewer resources, screen size, all those differences. But what's really exciting is that it's very similar to desktop development, especially with NetCF.
Now, you don't have a mouse or a pointing device. on
No,
the
you have to
screen.
think about it differently. From a UI perspective, absolutely, a lot of things different. But in terms of just pure coding, things like working with databases, with making web service calls, it's all almost identical to what you're used to on a desktop with the Visual Studio toolset.
Right.
So that's really exciting for a lot of us. If you want to make a web service call, you just create that web reference and drag it in. There's also cool bindings between SQL Mobile, which is the on-device database, and your controls. All that stuff is all built in.
Right.
Really exciting.
Yeah, are you guys coming to the PDC? I'm
Yeah,
sure you
we
are.
have. Actually, I just had an email about a session about that. Yep, we're going to have some sessions at PDC.
Very cool.
We had a ton at our MEDC, which was our Mobile Embedded Dev Con a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We're going to actually have a DVD out there, so for those of you who missed the sessions there, you can order the DVD and see everything that was presented there as well.
Very cool. Anything else that we should know, that developers in particular should know about the phone? Or
Just get excited about these and play around with it. If you go to MSDN's, our mobile developer center,
Yeah.
there's a resource kit that you can download where you can get started playing with Windows mobile devices right away. We have a very cool emulator. So even if you don't have a device, we have an ARM-based emulator, so it's just like the actual chipset that's on the device, and you can start developing even games. Will
now,
work on the
using the
right now.
emulator, can you target both the old phone, like my phone doesn't have the new?
Yep, you can
5.0?
target 2003 and 5.0. So
Okay.
Visual Studio 2005 has...
Because it's a little hard to find 5.0 devices. Right?
Yeah, it's virtually impossible unless you're working with Microsoft as a partner.
Right. Now, it takes, for Singular to carry them, they have to go through a whole testing and
Yep.
approval process. So it takes, 6 months, 8 months to get a phone out in the marketplace? After you
It's
guys
usually
find the
about
software?
60 to 90 days.
60
It
to
can be
90 days.
depending again on there's OEM testing and then there's operator testing
Okay.
and trials and stuff like that in different geographies. Different
So by the
rounds
end of the year,
tests.
you're expecting to have a phone out there with 5.0?
Can't really comment.
I'm trying to get you
I know, I can't really comment on
This
what
guy's been
OEMs.
PR trained. I hate it when the PR team gets,
You always
gets
copy
to you
me.
before.
We can't really comment on when OEMs are going to be releasing, but usually it's 60 to 90 days after we do our final handoff. And we work with OEMs. We make changes to the OS even after we deliver it to them, depending on their feedback.
Okay.
For instance, things need to get tuned, different drivers, for different devices.
Right. Now, do you have 5.0 on this device?
I actually have a post 5.0 build
Ooh.
on this, which I don't
So
even know
you
I
can't
can
even
show.
you can't even show that. Oh, great.
But actually, what I have on here, which is something that we announced, which is
Yeah.
our messaging and security feature pack.
Okay.
Which really allows for really cool messaging and security scenarios that IT pros have been really asking for.
Like what?
So the ability to do push email, for instance, so similar to what is on the RIM BlackBerry. So if you want always up-to-date email, right, that is always there, it's pushed out to you, and it doesn't rely on SMS like our old push email I guess, architecture asked for. So that's really great if you don't want that SMS dependency.
Right.
It also has a lot of cool features from security standpoint. So if you want to make sure that all the data on the device is secure, as an IT administrator, you can make sure that all the users of the devices have to have a password of a certain kind of strength, whether it's a simple PIN or alphanumeric. And you can also remotely wipe a device if someone loses it, which is a common scenario right now. If I have confidential information on the device, or I even have access to that email that has confidential information, I want to make sure that when I lose this device in a taxi, for instance, I can call someone up and they can automatically wipe it or lock it. There's also policies where if there's 3 incorrect passwords in a row, it automatically locks up. Things like that really make it easy for an IT administrator to say, yeah, I am confident and feel comfortable with releasing these out into the wild.
That's a big deal, because I just a couple of weeks ago I lost my phone and
Yep.
it sat in the Oakland airport for a couple of weeks. That's really neat. So you can actually remotely call in and have that phone shut off?
Yep. You can do it. So it's all administered through actually Exchange Service Pack 2, Exchange 2003 Service Pack 2. So really cool. There's a whole little kind of panel set up for the administrator to manage these policies and actually do for a specific device. They can actually do certain change policies.
Now, is the camera app any better on this phone?
Actually, there is an application that ships with Windows Mobile 5.0 that's specific for cameras.
Okay.
Before, I think you
on my
probably
phone, it takes 11 clicks. To
yeah, that was so. In the past, OEMs or operators actually developed that application. Now with Windows Mobile 5.0, it's something that we ship. And what's also exciting for developers is, as a developer, you can call that application within your own app.
Yeah.
So if you want to take advantage of the camera, it's like 2 lines of code. You pull up that little application that controls things like zoom and resolution and all that stuff, and you can take a picture from within your application.
Oh, wow.
There are other cool things like that with the we have what's called a contact picker and a picture picker. Same thing, 2 lines of code, and you have access to this ready-made dialogue for you, so you don't have to rewrite the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Now, I've spent a lot of time in cell phone stores listening
Yep.
to people ask, and most people just want a phone.
Yep.
And how does Windows Mobile 5 compare to the other OSs, I guess, like Symbian or whatnot, for just phone features, for calling, for receiving a call, for maybe downloading a ringtone? Because
So in the past, the quality hasn't been where we wanted it to be. And really, we spent a lot of time with Windows Mobile 5.0 making sure that it's a good phone first, right? That it makes phone calls, it doesn't drop, it rings when it's supposed to ring.
Now, that's interesting. Is that a function of the OS or the device? Because I always thought it was
a combination of both. And
Okay.
so there were 2 things that we did really to make this better, to improve the quality of the phones coming out. First was we made sure that Windows Mobile 5.0 is built on Windows CE 5.0, which is just a more stable, better operating system all around. Plus, we worked a lot closer with our OEMs and with the ISVs that build applications in ROM to make sure that the quality bar was a lot higher. We worked with them a lot closer, a lot earlier, to make sure that it was a good phone first. And so that has to do with drivers at the very lowest level, as well as parts of the operating system that could be more efficient.
Wow. Any new toys coming that you can tell us about?
Ford, I think, has some that he can show you.
Some.
He's the expert on what can and cannot be shown.
Yeah,
at this
he has
point.
some toys that are so new they weren't working.
Oh yeah, well, really exciting stuff. I think another really important thing to know about Windows Mobile 5.0 is that we're really giving a lot more power to operators and OEMs to customize the OS in the way that they want it. So when you were saying, what makes a good phone, if they want to build a phone that is just really a simple phone and doesn't have all the kind of complexities of maybe a smartphone, they can do that. And if they want to make something that's a little more media-centric, they can do that in terms of theming and other things like that.
Now, theming is a big deal because, I've seen a lot of people have these phones and they put a custom theme on it.
Yep.
How hard is it to create your own theme?
We're actually putting together...
if you want to do a theme like a Star Wars theme or something.
I think it's just a matter of putting an XML file together. And I think one thing that we're still in the middle of doing is making sure that kind of documentation is available to the wider developer audience. Because right now it's only been made available to OEMs and operators, but it is in our plans to make that available to the wider world out there, so everyone can write their own themes if they wanted to. Of course, given that an operator and OEM doesn't lock down the device in such a way that you can't change it.
Now, do you have some favorite websites that you read to keep up to date on what the community is doing?
Oh, I read tons of sites every day. I love Engadget. I read a lot of stuff there. A lot of rumors out there. It's always interesting to see what people are guessing is going to happen.
Yeah.
But on a regular basis, I mean, I'm reading our windowsfordevices.com, linuxfordevices.com to understand what's going on in the community from that standpoint. There are a lot of blogs out there. There's our Windows Mobile blog, which is also interesting that people contribute to.
Where's your favorite place to go get ringtones or photos for your phone or music or whatnot?
So I wouldn't say I go to one particular place. One of the cool things, again, with this is that you can actually sync this device with your Windows Media Player on your PC. So if I already have music on there, I can easily sync through ActiveSync that library onto here. So whether I bought my music through MSN Music or wherever it might be, it really doesn't matter. I can go ahead and synchronize it there. Or I can go to through my operator and download it.
Now, how much RAM do you have on your phone?
This phone...
Actually,
that's
a good question. What's the default RAM? So can you store an MP3 file?
So the cool thing is that it has an SD card.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
so
a mini
I have
SD
actually
card.
a mini SD card. I have a 1 gigabyte SD card in there. So tons of memory if I want it. It all depends on how much you want to spend on that card.
Doesn't that blow you away?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's amazing.
I was walking around, I told Gordon Bell this, who started the Computer History Museum down in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been in that museum, but it's
No.
100-something thousand square feet of old computers. And I went around and counted all the RAM in all the computers in the Computer History Museum, and my phone has more RAM than the entire...
Well, that's what's so exciting. When we were talking about games earlier, if you look at the fact that a lot of these phones, especially the PDAs first and then the phones, are also going to have graphic accelerator chips, right? That are coming out. So what's exciting there is the graphics capability of these phones is catching up to last generation consoles. Yeah. Right now it's somewhere in between what PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 is now, or just a little bit less than what the Xbox is out there right now, is what we're expecting in the next year or two. So it's just really exciting to see how fast this is moving.
The bleeding edge is to put a hard drive in the phone.
Yeah, there's hard drives also in the phones.
Samsung, I think, has.
I think in the mobile space, you'll say is 10 year of the PC space is 1 year in the mobile space in terms of how fast hardware moves, right, and how long it took for games to develop to a certain point, for media to develop to a certain point, connectivity, all of that just really rapid, really fast.
Now, one of the latest trends, I was at another conference last week, and they were talking about creating virtual economies with the phone. Vodafone
Live, maybe?
I forget the company's name, but one of these big cell phone companies is actually creating a virtual economy. So the more you use the phone and the more you send messages and games over to your friends, the more points you get. And so it creates this... like a frequent flyer program, basically. Frequent usage program.
Usage program, yeah.
So are you going to see... I expect on the phones now that there's a really good developer toolkit, I expect to see a whole new kind of connected developer game. Or a connected game.
Absolutely, yes. You can envision, basically... You can say game services that are for connected games where you have something similar to maybe an Xbox Live experience over time on devices. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I have the Thor if you want.
What's this? What's this? Who are you?
Well, the battery died on it, so I was going to plug it in.
Who are you?
Peter Bernard.
Okay, and what do you do here?
I'm his manager.
Oh, okay. Management overhead.
So if you want to stick this in your USB slot, this might turn on.
So what is special about this device?
We were just in Malaysia and Australia for MEDC.
Are we allowed to show this in public, or do we have to?
Yeah, this has been shown.
There's a 3 gig hard drive on it.
3 gig?
Yeah.
All right.
And
so how many songs can the 3 gig hard drive store on it?
You have to hold this down. I'm still
okay. The Samsungs, that's how
it's
they
pretty
do it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
3 gig hard drive. I don't know how many. That's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But it's got Windows Media Player 10 in there, and it's
so that whole sync story I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The 1 gigabyte SD card is cool, but when you have the full.
Now, are you guys building an RSS client for these things so you can?
There's third parties. There's like SmartFeed is a good one. That's actually a .NET CF application. That's an RSS reader. It actually does podcast stuff, audio and text.
And how much does that cost?
I think they're giving that one away. I'm not sure. Or it's like $9.95 or something.
Okay.
And it's a single cab for Pocket PC and smartphone. So it's either or.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, the IE team just announced RSS on Internet Explorer 7 and Longhorn, so hopefully we'll see more more podcasting features
Absolutely.
because I think that's the killer.
Right.
I'm already using
Right.
that to listen to Adam Curry and
I think there's some
all
home
sorts of-
screen plugins for RSS too.
Yep.
So you can actually.
And there's some actual the great third-party apps also, like Audible.
Yep.
Where you can download if you're really into books on tape or books on MP3, I guess, or whatever, or Windows Media.
Now, how do you hook
can
this
do
up
that
to your
as
car
well.
speakers? Because that's another killer feature is to hook, because you can store music and
Right.
stuff on this,
Bluetooth.
and it's in stereo. You can. Is it through Bluetooth?
You can do
Is that-
Bluetooth. These things have
I think
headphone
with that-
jacks on them, so you
Yeah.
can just stick your, it's a standard headphone jack. So you've seen the RCA, the headphone adapter thing,
Right.
and you just pop.
And
it
some
in your
people
glove
use
box.
FM.
same profile, I
Some
guess,
people
is
use
that
FM transmitters, so they transmit signal.
Right through a standard headphone jack.
Yeah.
That's you can even reuse your iPod accessories probably for this.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely possible.
Yep.
So,
But it's a
Creative.
connected iPod.
that's
right.
It makes phone
We'll see what
calls.
Steve Apple's going to announce something tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see what they announce. But they're rumored to announce a Wi-Fi phone. Well, this is already far more connected than any Wi-Fi device. And
Oh yeah, absolutely.
because it's on all night long, you can just download stuff in the background. That's what
Yeah, sure.
what I like.
And I mean,
this-
we're seeing. I mean, we have now 3G and Edge devices coming out. So I mean, all that over the air, all those scenarios are definitely possible at higher speeds now than
now, when I
used to.
compare this device to, let's say, a Nokia device or a Motorola device, the fonts look better on it, and I think it's because you guys are using the new clear
Yeah, we have like
technology.
the Seago font.
The Seago font.
it looks great.
Which you can actually get.
You're
from
also
this
seeing
phone.
high DPI screens coming out. Also,
Oh, really?
That's
Well, this is a
part of it.
QVGA screen. If you look at this screen,
Yep.
so I mean that's a sweet screen. I mean, you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the fonts on there are really readable, and
Well, I read a lot of RSS feeds. It's amazing how much you can read on a small screen, and it's so cool to be standing in line somewhere, and like I was stuck in a 45-minute security line the other day. I was just reading feeds, and that made that whole time in line a lot more productive. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
And because the RSS aggregators load them up locally, it's
In the
you don't even
background, yep.
you don't even care about the speed of the network, So.
yeah, it's cool stuff. So I mean, and this is a regular phone. I mean, it's not.
Now, how's battery life on this thing?
I haven't really used it extensively.
Mine I
use
guess
This is
3.
great. Yeah, this is like
It
3
only
days.
uses the hard
Yeah.
drive when you're playing music, and it's using a micro drive. So it's the same micro drive you'd find in any standard sort of high capacity player.
Yeah.
So it's not using it when you're using it as a phone anyway. So it's you sort of have a choice of when that's going to happen.
Right.
Plus it caches stuff, and so it's pretty smart about it.
Now, the other trend that I saw when I visited Europe 2 weeks ago was high pixel rate camera phones.
Right.
Are those improving at all? Or are these still 1 megapixel?
We've seen like some 1.3 megapixel ones.
Yeah.
I
Nokia
think
has it
Samsung
too.
had something like they were showing that was higher. I
Yeah.
mean, they're getting up to ridiculously high levels, but so I mean all that we actually have I don't know if you mentioned this API now. We have a standard camera API across all the phones.
Ah.
So when you're writing an app that wants to pull in a picture or take a picture, you can write that app and it'll work across like all 40 different devices, as opposed to if you go on another platform, it's like per phone issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the way you access the camera on one particular Nokia phone versus Motorola phone is all different. So that's one of the great things about the platform is we abstract a lot of this stuff, so you can just sort of.
The same holds true for other pieces of hardware, like even GPS. So one of the new things with Windows Mobile 5.0 is a GPS intermediate driver. So rather than having to worry about specifics of each kind of GPS hardware and as a developer, you don't have to worry about, I access this hardware differently than the other one. It's one common API. And what's also cool about this driver is that you can share the GPS hardware across multiple applications at the same time. So
Okay.
they can share that piece of hardware and that location information.
Now, are there GPSs in these phones yet?
No, usually right now you'll see is it through Bluetooth. You'll
Okay.
access the GPS device, or with a Pocket PC, it's something that plugs in.
I think actually the new HP, the square screen HP's got an active GPS chip in it.
Cool.
So you can actually do location. It could broadcast location out, right? So instead of network-based location, it's device-based location.
Wow. So, are you guys working with the Virtual Earth team? Have you seen what they have?
We have Microsoft
Virtual Earth
Map1
for-
location server, right?
Yeah.
So we're involved with that. So MLS enables a company to track assets based on lat longs from different devices.
So the time is coming where you're going to be able to, visit London, for instance, and say, "Find me the nearest Starbucks,"
Sure.
and the phone will say, go left, go right. You know.
Oh yeah,
there.
definitely. I mean, we have pocket streets on there, and and you can use.
You can do that now.
Yeah, you can do that now. You have GPS with Bluetooth. You can have an external GPS, right, where you have pocket streets. Will tell you sort of what's going on.
Yeah.
But now they're putting GPS chips in there, like the new HP's got that in there.
Wow.
In fact, you can even do location pinpoints from Wi-Fi access points, right? So there's a way to sort of geo-map your access points, and so the thing will know, like, how close am I to a certain access point, and therefore where am I geographically. So there's all these new ways of sort of finding location on these devices. Someone told me, Neil Rudin was doing this talk at MEDC about location, and he said, the great thing is it's unlikely that you'll ever get lost when you're actually sitting at your desk. It's more likely you'll actually be out somewhere and you'll be lost. So having that on a mobile phone is pretty key.
Now, are we ever going to see? We'll probably see the day when there's Wi-Fi and GPRS mixed on the same device.
Oh yeah, we have some of those now. I mean we had the MPX. That was Wi-Fi.
So more of the kind of the Pocket PC Phone Edition type devices have them now. I think you'll start seeing them more on normal cell phones, especially when
now the cell phone companies, I would imagine, are resisting that, aren't
to some degree. I mean, they have to be careful. What they're kind of pitching it as, when you're in the office environment, you can use it for with VoIP, for instance, and then when you leave, you don't. But you're right. It's careful. They have to be really careful about that.
Yeah. Are you guys ever going to build voice over IP into the phone then?
That's definitely in our plans. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Coming soon.
I think the alpha bits are floating around, actually.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to install it just a few minutes ago.
So yeah, that just adds a whole other world of excitement. Also, along the point of location and other things like that, there's a notion of presence also, right? And the ability not just to say where's the nearest Starbucks, but where's my friend, or your friend is nearby.
And presence goes beyond what IM gives you today, right?
Yep. Well, there's a location component to it,
presence,
right? Is someone near me?
Yeah.
For instance, or did they
Let's just admit it. It's going to be for dating, right? You walk in a room. I'm available.
Could happen.
It could happen. Yeah. Walk into a party. Hey, there's 5 people here. Let's all meet in the corner.
First single.
Well, they use MLS now, the location server. Like corporations use it to track assets, But you could have a scenario where you could track a group of friends. They could all volunteer to say, I want to be tracked as part of this community and only visible to each other. So, you could definitely use the map point stuff to say, where are my friends physically, in this area or in this party or whatever.
There's some other cool scenarios too where you combine location with photo blogging.
Yeah.
So this is a notion almost of you can think of it as kind of graffiti, or virtual graffiti. So if I'm at a restaurant, for instance, and I really enjoyed the food, I might take a picture of the restaurant where I am, blog that the food here was great, and it'll actually also tag where the location of that was. And then my friends, next time that they come into that restaurant, are notified, wait, Eric left a message about this restaurant. You might want to read.
Well, that's where I'm getting with the Virtual Earth guys.
Yeah, right.
They're thinking about that.
So you can kind of think of it in those terms, right? So it's almost like you have this world of where you can just leave notes or Post-its, almost for your friends or for
that's
the public.
going to be a big deal. I think
huge.
it's going to radically change even apps like Streets and Trips. Because when you go, let's say you wanted to take a road trip to Jackson Hole today, there's no information about that trip. It gives you great directions and shows you how to get there, but it doesn't tell you where the clean bathrooms are, or where the great sushi restaurant is, or where a great photo opportunity is. Or
And you can think of how businesses run too. It just makes them also a little more vulnerable. They have to be kind of a little careful in terms of customer feedback is now, or the ability to review stuff. They've already seen that on kind of websites right now.
Yeah.
You go to, a City Search or or something like that, and you can read about different restaurant reviews. But now it's actually while I'm at the restaurant or outside the restaurant, it's kind of posted there for the whole world to read about. So it'll be really interesting to see how.
I think there's going to be on that term. I think there's going to be a whole new kind of advertising come out too, because as I walk around and I'm looking at these little mini reviews that maybe you and I have left, the restaurant can say, "Hey, come on in. I'll give you $10 off of your next meal if you come in the next hour and show your cell phone."
Promotions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I would actually subscribe to something like that because that would save me money walking around. So, anything else? What's the killer? Have you seen a really innovative use of cell phones that maybe we don't know about? Since you guys are in the middle of the world here, you get to see a lot of cool stuff.
All the time. But one thing that I love that I saw was how police departments are using actually more of the PDAs,
Yeah.
and the now that you have more processing power on these devices, the ability to do face recognition, and the camera's quality is getting better. So what they can do is if they pull someone over, they can take a picture real quickly, and that will use face recognition as well as the ability to connect to back-end databases to try to see if it matches with anyone on, say, a wanted list or a known list. So whether it's either fingerprints or if there's no fingerprint on file, they can at least use the face recognition to see if there's something there.
Wow.
So that's really cool, and that's really using the power of both the fact that it's mobile, that there's the hardware in there as well
That
as
sounds
the
really
connectivity and the processing.
That sounds really future. That sounds like
Oh no,
something
it's
that
actually
Las Vegas would.
Yeah, but
you know,
I
the
actually
show
met
Las
a
Vegas
developer.
would have.
Yeah, it was interesting. But I met a developer actually that was working in the UK to do that, and they had a product that was actually in use. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's even a case
Right.
study on
I think
it.
there's actually there's another one that I've seen that's similar to that. So there's airport cameras, and the airports will actually scan passersby and do face recognition on the fly. And if they get a match, then it broadcasts to a PDA, right, that the agents are wearing around the airport, right, and it comes up with the person's face saying, we've tracked this person, try to find them.
Wow.
So it's kind of using that as a broadcast mechanism.
Wow. A while ago, some other company showed me that they were working on a system to take pictures of barcodes, like on the back of a book, and then it
Right.
would look up the price.
Yeah, I've seen that. I forgot the company. I saw them recently. But yeah, you could use the camera to basically do barcode scanning, right, and then look up on a back-end database.
Now, is the camera really good enough yet to do that?
Certainly the 1.3 megapixel ones are. And higher. I would say the kind of the low-end VGA ones are probably a little weak. And even you can use a barcode scanner to take a picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of reverse, right? So you can use the symbol MC50. It has this infrared scanner, and you can actually use it to take a black and white picture.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both directions.
And then now there are the two-dimensional barcodes that are out there that can hold a lot more information.
Oh, yeah.
And so one idea also is just the fact that you can think of a barcode as just holding almost just like a URL in the way. So if I have a poster and I want more information about this advertisement, I scan it or take a picture of it, and that sends me then to more information, whether it's through a web page or a web service or something like that.
Wow.
So you can just think of these are just kind of gateways to additional information, but in the physical world, if you want. And there are other cool technologies that have similar ideas. When you were talking about the commerce, near field communications, which is the idea of almost like having like RFID chips in all of these. So now it's the idea of, I can pay for something like my wallet. I can just swipe it at a convenience store or whatever, and now this becomes my wallet and my credit cards and everything all in one.
Wow.
And so
there's
exciting.
a lot.
You don't want to lose it then.
No. Well,
Or you want
that's
that
where you need the security.
Right, you want that remote
you need to
wipe.
be able to tell it, hey, yeah, lock down my
You
wallet.
want to be able to call the operator or your enterprise and say, hey, I want to wipe it now.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities for developers to make new businesses
tons.
and new apps. And
Tons. And really take advantage of the device. I think that's a real differentiator for Windows Mobile 5.0 is the fact that you, as a developer, you can easily take advantage of all the Windows Mobile device hardware out there, and you don't have to worry about it at a per device basis. It's just all of them at once with a consistent API set.
Very cool.
Really cool.
Well, thanks. I got to go and find Ford again and
Okay.
see where he is. So I'm going to cut it off the camera. All right, great. So we're back in Ford's office. So what else are we doing? Who are you?
Hi. Is this a documentary?
Live document. This is Microsoft's reality TV, Channel 9.
Excellent. So, my name is Miiko Mantovar. I'm a new addition to the marketing team.
Oh, awesome.
Came from Singular. I'm originally from Finland.
Wow. Home of the cell phone revolution.
Yes, I guess. I don't know if it's a revolution, but anyway.
Now, why did cell phones in Europe happen so much bigger than here in the United States? I mean, when I was just over in Denmark, people use phones in different ways than they use them here. It's more part of the culture.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think that in Europe, because of the common standard, there was just a networking effect that happened with SMS. I think SMS is one of the biggest drivers of cell phone usage over there.
Yeah.
And because there was a common standard, and operators from the very beginning agreed to work together in creating the infrastructure. That's why it was easy to say, instead of, you can currently Singular here says you can message out to 50 million customers, but if it was Europe, then Singular and Verizon customers could do the same thing, pretty much. And I think that would that was one of the reasons.
Okay.
I think also this was very much a fixed internet-based culture, and the fixed internet was slower in coming over to Europe than here. So just like in Japan or in Asia elsewhere, they adopted the mobile version of it faster than they did.
Yeah, I noticed that there wasn't as many computers on trains or in the subways in London.
Right.
But like the front page of the London newspaper had a whole article about text the Olympic Committee to show your support for the Olympic bid in London. And you just don't see that in newspapers or in the culture here.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so what else are we doing here, Ford?
Well,
It looks like you have a bunch of devices on your desk.
so I've got the HTC Universal here.
Yep.
And this device is going to be coming out with Windows Mobile 5.0. And I tried to flash it this morning with the latest build of the messaging and security feature pack. And unfortunately, it doesn't have all the components to work correctly on this device. So,
Uh-oh. Somebody broke the build last night.
yeah, but I do have a couple.
There's going to be a developer getting yelled at every 20
a
minutes.
couple cool things to show you. So this is Windows Mobile 5.0.
Cool.
Now this is running on a Blue Angel device. This is just for internal. This build won't be available on this device. But just wanted to show you some of the cool new things we've
Now,
added.
this is a 320 by 240 screen?
Yeah. Now we've added we've added soft keys here for Pocket PC so that customers can quickly access menus just like they can on a smartphone. So we took that learning from smartphone experience to improve the customer's phone experience.
Now,
On
why
one
aren't
hand-
these available in the public yet?
Well, so Windows Mobile 5.0 we just RTM'd,
Yep.
and now all of our OEM device maker partners have this build, and they're working on devices that should come out late this summer and early fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to buy that soon.
Yeah,
All
check
right.
out the new contacts. That's pretty hot. New contacts application, much more user-friendly. You can quickly dial with your finger, or notice that this soft key down here changes from call, SMS, email, so you can just, with one hand, quickly navigate to whatever you're looking
really neat.
for.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
What makes Windows Mobile different than other technologies on the market that people can buy?
Well, first of all, it's got the best synchronization with your Windows PC of any phone out there. So right when you open it out of the box, it comes with a cable, it comes with our great ActiveSync software, and you can connect right to your PC. So all your calendar, contacts, email from Outlook, right onto your device in a matter of minutes. You've got the ability to send your photos to your device, and with Windows Media Player 10 Mobile, all your music, videos, you can quickly transfer those to your device. And we've done some cool things in Windows Mobile 5.0 to allow partners to add hard drives. There's a Samsung device.
Yeah, we just saw that.
Yep, that's
that
pretty
has
cool.
the 3 gig drive, right?
Yep, 3 gig
and
drive.
I know there's a 4 gig one coming or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going so fast.
I saw a prototype device. Yeah.
Somebody had told me a couple of years ago that somebody was launching a mobile device with a 4 gig drive. That would be like, okay, you're insane.
Yeah.
No, it's coming. It's cool.
Yeah. One thing, one of my friends, or a bunch of my friends, have Trios and Blackberries, and I actually like the fonts on your devices better. It's more readable. Tell me about what you guys did on that.
Well, so we've got a couple things that we've done. First, we've got a new font in Windows Mobile 5.0 for smartphone, which is Seago font. We've got the same font in Pocket PC, but you can actually adjust the font size. So a lot of people have trouble reading the small size on a lot of these phone devices, so we're providing the option to change it to whatever makes the most sense for you.
And you're using the ClearType technology,
That's right.
Which makes the font more readable and actually higher resolution on these small screens.
Yeah, and we also have high-res screen support, so you're going to start seeing QVGA smartphones.
Okay.
The HTC
Now
Universal.
QVGA, what's the resolution on that? I always have to translate.
Oh boy, I normally have to look that one up.
VGA
I
is
think
640 by 480, so
Yeah,
it's
I
probably
think-
800 by 600.
No, I think smartphone. Well,
Oh, okay.
I'll look it up and get it for you. But I think smartphone with QVGA might be 320 by
That's right.
240.
QVGA is quarter VGA.
Yeah. But this device is a VGA device. There are upgrades.
Oh, that's a VGA device.
Yeah, this is a VGA device.
Ah,
So they're
we're finally getting. So
That's
that's the one I want, because my friends have the Dell Axiom
Yeah, the
Pocket
X50.
PCs, with the 640 by 480 screen
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, so
it's
this has
stunning. I mean, if you see video on that thing, it's like, wow, you know?
Yeah, and Dell and HP have both announced upgrades for Windows Mobile 5.0. So if you have one of those devices, there should be upgrades out this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, which is cool.
Very cool. What
now,
kind of storage is available for that device?
You can put an SD card in here.
Okay.
And what's great about
So a gig or 2 gig?
2 gig SD, 1 gig mini SD.
Okay.
So even if you don't have the device with the hard drive, you can turn your smartphone into a 1 gig music phone.
Yeah.
And
now, does that look like a competitor's music device?
yeah, this device is pretty sweet.
That looks cool. Oh, it's from T-Mobile too.
Yeah, so this is out in T-Mobile, Germany. This is an SDA music phone. And you notice it's got some music hardware buttons here. Play, pause, forward, back, just like a portable MP3 player. And T-Mobile's customized it with their cool branding. And we've also got our Windows Media Player 10 mobile. Music, pictures, videos, sort by artist, album. Let's just go ahead and fire up a song here. So you get the album art. You can actually hear that song playing. But it's great. If you go to the gym, you can start going for a run, jam into your music, and if you get an incoming call, it actually pauses your music, asks you if you want to accept the call, and when you're finished with the call, picks right up where it left off. So
now,
that's pretty cool.
Tell me a little bit about how voice command is being built into the phones.
Okay, so Microsoft Voice Command is a, if you're not familiar with it, it's an application that allows you to ask things of your device. What are my appointments today? Please call Eric Engineer at work. Play music. And so you can basically control your device. It also now announces incoming call. So if someone's calling you, you've got it on the seat next to you in your car, it will announce who's calling. And voice command is now, we've added some new functionality to it, and it's now part of Windows Mobile 5.0 as an optional component for OEM partners to add to the
Now, if your phone doesn't come with it, can you download it somewhere?
Yeah, totally.
Excellent.
You totally can download it. And that's the same for Pocket MSN. So we've got this new Pocket MSN that really is awesome. Right out of the box, you put in your username and password, configures your Hotmail so that you can now access that within your inbox. And that's, again, an optional thing for OEM partners. We think most of them are pretty excited about it and will ship it on devices. But if your device doesn't come with Pocket MSN, or you've got a Windows Mobile 2003 device, you can just download that right from our website.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anything else we should... I noticed you had a Bluetooth keyboard here.
Yeah, the Bluetooth keyboard. So this is a Think Outside Bluetooth keyboard, which is great because with Windows Mobile 5.0, built-in Bluetooth keyboard driver. So you don't have to install anything. Put your smartphone, pocket PC phone, whatever you have, and right out of the box you can just use it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
How much battery life does turning on Bluetooth use?
Well, so to give you an idea, I used this recently on a trip. Bluetooth keyboard, smartphone, running Bluetooth, and I got on the plane with 2 bars, flew down to San Diego, and it worked the whole time, no problem. I turned off the Bluetooth once I got there, used it for the rest of the day, and I still had full battery, or 2 bars, when I got to my hotel room that night and plugged it in to charge. So
Awesome.
I guess it depends on your usage,
Yeah.
but it provides a great alternative to that getting on the airplane and having that person put their seat back into your laptop screen so you can't really see it.
Yep. That's why I use a tablet.
Yeah, a tablet. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I wish I had some cooler things to show you in terms of devices, but
I have a feeling you'll have a few more soon.
we have a few that are around, but I don't have any this morning. But basically, there are some hot devices coming out with Windows Mobile 5.0.
Yeah.
And basically that's end of summer, early fall, and we're super excited about it. Our partners are excited
Now, is there a
about
page that people should watch for, what's your main website?
Yeah, windowsmobile.com is the main site.
Okay.
In addition to upcoming devices that are coming out, we also post a lot of tips and tricks,
Okay.
which people are finding really helpful. We're also doing some app showcase. showcasing. So partners that are developing cool apps for Windows mobile devices, we're posting it up there, helping educate customers on what these things can do. And we've just got a ton of cool applications that are coming out as well. And I think Eric Engineer talked about some of the cool things that he did with the beta program.
Very cool. Well, thanks for spending an hour with me today.
You're welcome.
Great.
All right.
Thanks.